Hey guys, this is Brittany here with Surfing Waves of Light, and today I'm doing a video about the magic of death in honor of the passing of one of my best friend's dads and a surrogate dad to myself, Mr. Curtin, and the 5-year anniversary of my dad's passing. I had some guidance come through and I really wanted to share it with you. So the day that Mr. Curtin passed, I felt inspired to go to the sunset spot here and take some pictures of the sunset on the day that he took his transition from physicality into spirit more fully. And a couple of things came up. So I'm sitting at the bay, and Mr. Curtin was a really funny guy. And so he was being really funny. I really felt him and my dad both present, and it was interesting how my dad's energy, which I feel a lot but not always, was really emphasized by Mr. Curtin's energy. So the guide started off by saying that it's an honor to know someone who has lived and be present on earth, whether physically there or energetically, for their passing. And the honor comes when we realize that when someone passes to the other side, we actually have the opportunity to know them in their true essence, the spirit of who they are, also their feeling self. So when we're in physicality and we're in bodies and we're walking around, we're not always emotionally vulnerable. We're not always trusting. We don't embody defenselessness or the full feelings that we have, right? We have a lot of distortions because of our training here. So we've been taught actually to not show the true essence, our true feelings. Most of us, myself included sometimes, don't even know how we feel. And the beauty about someone passing is that all those filters from the ego, they disintegrate. So of course beings, they may go through different levels of this, but because there's no time on the other side, as soon as the being passes, energetically their energy becomes a part of all. So in this experience of being in a body, of being separate humans, we think we're separate, right? I feel myself in this body. I don't think I'm a part of that plant or this table or that microwave or that lamp. But what happens is these beings actually become a part of all, and a part of them also comes into us in different ways. And so really what happens when these beings pass, and this is the jokes that my dad and Mr. Curtin were making, was that they are actually quite offended with the living. And there were other energies there too, but I'm going to focus on these two for now. But they were like, we're mad at you guys. This is my dad and Mr. Curtin. And we're like, and it was just me there. I'm like, okay, why are you mad? Like, I'm sitting there like thinking I'm going to be sad, thinking I'm going to be all like nostalgic. And I'm hearing, feeling, because I always feel, I hear, but I make the words. I'm feeling like, oh, okay, so you're mad at us? I wasn't expecting that. And they laugh because what they said was that they're mad at the living because when they pass, they still feel so present here, and they are so present here through their feeling self. But as physical beings in separation and believing in death, we focus extremely hard on the absence of their physicality. So yeah, because of what we've been taught, we just think when someone dies, that's it. And I know we all have varying beliefs of feeling people, experiencing them. But what my dad has taught me over the past 5 years, and of course, it doesn't replace that physical energy necessarily. He's taught me like that I have to get to know him in spirit. I have to learn who he is in that way. And so Mr. Curtin, there's my computer freezing, but I guess that's my dad. Mr. Curtin and him were saying that, yeah, we're really mad at you. You guys are so focused on the absence of us, but we are ever present. And in fact, we're communicating more loudly and clearly than ever before. They were saying how, and my guides were also communicating a lot of this too. They were saying how the words that we speak on a day-to-day basis are highly distorted. Like the language, I can say ball, and you might think of a tennis ball, and I might think of a bowling ball, and you might think of a testicle. Like there's so many possible meanings for words, but feelings are unmistakable. When you get that full body chills that something is not right, or you get a deep intuition that you need to make this decision and not that decision, there's no distortion. It's very clear. And so we look for people for comfort in the five senses: the seeing, the hearing, the smelling, the tasting, the hugging of those beings. But really what they are now is their pure essence, their pure soul. And so that will, I find with my dad, it does maintain some of the physical characteristics. Like he tends to speak through males to me, especially like fatherly figure males. I know he spoke to me through Mr. Curtin, because he was alive for 5 more years than my dad and many others. He'll send me chills when plumbing trucks arrive, because he was a plumber, and even like big yellow trucks, like that's a sign of him, and I'll get the chills. And so they're this pure love, and the gift of us knowing them before they passed is in us being able to better understand who they are in spirit. So before my dad died, I think my idea of what spirit was a lot like very convoluted and distorted. But once he passed, there was something about his energy that was really unmistakable, and it helped me to understand how spirit communicates. Because for a long time, at least for me, I don't know if any of you have gone through this, when I would go to channel, I was waiting for a voice to like overcome my whole body, or like a energy to like take my arm and start writing. And what I started to realize is that channeling and intuition and all these things, it's really translating feeling into words the best we can. And so these beings are bypassing words altogether, and they're becoming feelings. And so now we get to know the truest aspects of who they are, because we can't fake feelings. There's no ego lens when it comes to feelings. And so in a way, it's a gift when someone passes, because in this state, you can more truly and fully understand them, and therefore actually understand yourself. My dad and I, our relationship in physicality, we were great friends, very close. And, now we're unfrozen, kind of. And I always knew that my dad, as we all do, and I still currently am, would function sort of under the conditioning of being a father and being a male in his 50s and being a plumber. And, I still feel like he showed me a lot of his true essence. But now that he's passed, any distortions he has are gone. And I love what Abraham Hicks always says about people who've passed. She says they become pure positive energy. And so when you're reaching for them, and especially when someone first dies, and of course we have to go through our emotions. I mean, still to this day, sometimes the passing of my dad will catch me in a moment, and I'll feel sad, and I need to process that emotion. But truly, they become pure positive energy. So when we are reaching to feel them, just as the same as when we are trying to channel or we're trying to receive intuitive messages from spirit, we need to get in a neutral or more positive leaning state. It's almost impossible to hear spirit when unloving thoughts and ideas are passing through our mind, like I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I don't deserve to see my loved one because I wasn't there for them when they died, or I never said these things that I needed to say. And so the beautiful thing about people passing is, if there is something you need to say to them, you absolutely can, because they're still with you all the time. And actually, one thing that was cool about my dad, I went to El Salvador shortly after he passed, and I sat at this waterfall, and I felt him so deeply, and it was a new feeling because I really wasn't close to anyone else who was passed on. I mean, my grandma, my grandpa, but this was truly like a very close connection. And I think because we were so close, it really allowed that depth when he passed. But I'm sitting at this waterfall, and I realized, like, whereas before when he was alive, I would travel all over the world and he couldn't experience the things I was experiencing. But now that he was no longer in his body, he could experience everything I experienced. And so in a way, I'm able now to share my whole life with him, as opposed to before when he got the, Brittany putting on her face for her dad and whatever that looked like. And even in my dad's diagnosis and his journey with cancer, I did find that knowing someone is going to die, at least for us, we were able to unveil a lot of things. There was a beauty in it. And I even remember, getting into a lot of this stuff was very taboo back in the day. I was an ER nurse. I was very physical. And as I started to try to learn about what it means to heal and how to heal cancer, and I realized it's not a physical, herb in the jungle. It's actually alignment of body, mind, and spirit, of physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. What I realized, my dad and I would talk about him passing because we knew that it was probably going to come at some point. And I said to him, I'm like, we're going to still talk when you're, on the other side, right? And I don't know why I felt so inspired to say that, or why we talked about that so many times. But I did feel even at that time that part of his journey into spirit was for me. And now I know the whole world is for me. But even at that time, I did have a sneaking suspicion. I was trying to figure out my intuition, my channeling voice, all those things, that somehow his passing would spur me on into my path. And it truly has. And even though I miss him in physicality all the time, it's really great to know that he's always with me. And not just know that, but practice it. And sometimes when I have troubles with my family or my mom, or I just am not feeling that good, he can always be there, and I'm never alone. And there's just something about knowing someone who has passed, which seems horrible, right? The worst thing you can think of is, someone close to me died. But what Spirit and my dad and Mr. Curtin really wanted me to highlight in this video, the magic around death, is that there's actually great beauty in this. And while it is very hard, just like many of the lessons of life, there are great gains and rewards to be had, spirit rewards. So, maybe not a new car or a new bike or, $1 million, but the opportunity to know them and therefore know yourself better. And one of my core beliefs from all that I've experienced is that if someone is in tune with their intuition, in tune to the messages of spirit and their soul, that is the best medicine, because no matter what situations they'll come across, they will always know what to do. And so, they will always know what to do, but of course, you got to work on it. Even me with such a strong connection to spirit, I ignore it or get sidetracked sometimes. But that's not the point. The point is that when we do ground our intuition in, create a lot of opportunities for ourselves to ensure we're having the experiences we wanted to have when we came in here. So that is what my dad and Mr. Curtin had to say. And this video is for anyone who has lost someone, who feels that ache and pain of missing them. And I really honor you in that feeling. It's so true. And I just invite you to, in a moment of feeling good, invite your loved one in and see how they respond. Start to get to know them in spirit. Date them in non-physical. Know who they are in non-physical. it's really beautiful experience. It's not the same as physicality, but we're all evolving. And I think part of that is that we're going to be much closer to those who have passed, and death is going to become more of a celebration, truly, even in not just in the funeral process, but in our minds. We're going to really celebrate someone's passing and know that they passed to become our guides in this realm, and they're chilling in the non-physical, being unconditional love, and they're really feeling bad for us who is still in this illusion of separation. And they want us to talk to them. So talk to your people. I'm going to be checking in with them to see if they're still mad. They're mad in a light way. And let me know what you think about this video in the comments. Have you had someone you love passed? And how do they communicate with you? Do they send you words, songs, trucks, plumbers, butt cracks? What is that? And just know me, my guides, and the loved ones who have passed, who I've mentioned in this video, are sending you all lots of love. And yeah, and I'll talk to you again at another time. Before I sign off, I do want to say that even my friend Megan, who is not a channeler, but she is a very strong artist and in tune with herself, the morning after her dad passed, she actually received a message from him loud and clear and put it on the prayer card. So just know that there's no special requirement to feeling your loved ones, just the willingness to do so. All right, that's going to wrap up this video. I love you guys so much. I will speak to you again at another time. Namaste.